Hello students, welcome to my class. Your lecture continue, lecture number 13. Consequently, even though I could see the horse, so magnificent, so beautiful, even though I could smell it, so lovely, even though I could hear it breathing, so exciting, I couldn't believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Murad, or with me, or with any of the other members of our family, asleep, awake, because I knew my cousin Murad couldn't have bought the horse, and if he couldn't have bought it, he must have stolen it, and I refused to believe he had stolen it. Was so excited that he was seeing a horse that was so pleasant and beautiful. He could smell it and hear it breathing and still couldn't believe that Murad or anyone in the family could afford a horse. He was thinking, if Murad has stolen the horse, but he did not believe it, as he thought no one in his family could be a thief. I stared first at my cousin and then at the horse. There was a pure stillness and humor in each of them, which on the other hand delighted me and on the other frightened me. He stared at his cousin and then at the horse, and there was a religious motionlessness and a wittiness in both Murad and the horse, as one charmed him and the other scared him. Your next paragraph, Murad, I said, where did you steal this horse? Leap out the window, he said, if I want to ride. It was true. He had stolen the horse. There was no question about it. He had come to invite me to ride or not as I choose. Well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for ride was not the same thing as stealing something else, such as a money. For all I knew, maybe it was not stealing at all. If you were crazy about horses the way my cousin Murad and I were, it was not stealing. It wouldn't become stealing until we offered to sell the horse, which of course I knew we would never do. And then let me put on some clothes, I said. All right, he said, but hurry. I leaped into my clothes. I jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up onto the horse behind my cousin Murad. Explanation of this paragraph. He asked Murad if he had stolen the horse. Murad replied, he wants to ride a horse must jump out of the window. Almost convinced that the horse was stolen by Murad, and he came to visit him to ask him to ride it with him. Tried to convince himself that it was not the same as stealing money, as they both were so crazy about riding a horse. He thought that it would not be called stealing until they decide to sell it, which they would never do. And said he will wear some clothes and come outside. He jumped down to his yard from his room's window and sat on the horse behind his cousin. Okay, your next paragraph. That year, we lived at the edge of town on Walnut Avenue. Walnut Avenue, behind our house was a country vineyard. Vineyard means plantation of grapevines used in winemaking. Orchards. Orchard means a piece of land or plantation of fruits. Irrigation ditches. Irrigation ditches means man-made channels used to deliver water to homes, industries, and other uses. And country roads. In less than the 3 minutes, we were on Olive Avenue, and then the horse began to trot. Trot means proceed with something. The air was new and lovely to breathe. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. My cousin Murad, who was considered one of the craziest person of our family, began to sing. I mean, he began to roar. And every family has a crazy streak in it somewhere. And my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant. Descendant means a system that evolved from earlier simple version of the crazy streak in our tribe. Before him was our uncle Khosrow, an enormous, means huge man with a powerful head of black hair and the largest mustache in the Saint Joaquin Valley. A man so furious in temper, so irritable, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by roaring. It is no harm, pay no attention to it. An explanation of this paragraph. Lived at the edge of the town on Walnut Avenue. There were orchards, vineyard, irrigation ditches, and country roads behind his house. They were on Olive Avenue. Within 3 minutes, and the horse started to proceed. The air felt new and lovely to breathe. Felt wonderfully sitting on the horse which was running. Murad started singing loudly, who was considered one of the craziest members of the family. There is one crazy person in every family, and Murad was the one natural descendant of a crazy race in their tribe. Before Murad was Uncle Khosrow was the one huge man with black hair and largest mustache in the valley. He had an energetic temper and was impatient, which was irritating. He used to make anyone stop talking by roaring and say, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." Okay, student, I hope you understand these paragraphs and see you for tomorrow, your next lecture.